Now the chances are, if you've googled or YouTube searched Kenwood Chef repair, you've probably seen loads of videos and how to take apart Kenwood Chefs, varying models. I just thought it'd be quite interesting to show the actual part that fails on the A901. There's a specific motor fault that affects lots of these with age, and if you bought one from eBay or just got an old one kicking around the cupboard and it's started to smell of smoke and electrical burning, just thought it'd be interesting to show what happens inside, what fails and what we can do to repair it. They're generally all savable, these machines, so with a little bit of careful soldering and dismantling, it is possible to save these machines. Okay, so here's the motor removed from the Kenwood Chef. I'm assuming if you're bothering to look at this video, then you probably know how to take the motor out. There's plenty of YouTube videos explaining how to do that. These are some of the parts you might have removed already, and there's just a quick shot of the machine with the motor removed. I haven't actually split the casing in this case. I can actually wiggle the motor free with some careful undoing, but there's the motor. I've just wedged it in a pot just to keep it upright, just to expose the base. Now, assuming the motor spins round and there's plenty of meat left on the brushes, and generally the motor still turns okay, it doesn't make any horrible noises, the chances are there's a problem with the circuitry on the bottom here. And this is to do with the speed control circuit. There's a little component called a triac, very similar to a transistor, a couple of capacitors and 2 resistors, and you can see on this one here the resistor has burnt. In fact, you can just see that in shot there. So that's completely failed there and gone open circuit. But at first glance, these capacitors look okay. They're quite old, these ones. But if you sort of look on the other side, you can see actually they've started to expand and split. So they're pretty dud as well. And I suspect what's happened is the triac's failed and put a load on one of those components. It's probably not been helped by the capacitor, and it's generally catastrophically failed. So in this case, when you plug it in, the motor just won't turn. In fact, actually, when you wiggle the motor, you might get a few split-second jolts of the motor turning. But that circuitry needs to be replaced before this machine will ever work again. So here's a repair kit. You don't get much in the kit, just a couple of capacitors there, and the triac and the resistors, slightly higher capacity, or rather specification resistors there, I guess, to dissipate some heat. And this is a repair kit I bought from eBay. Typically they're available from about £9. This one's a slightly dearer one, about £14 something or other, and it comes with some slightly better specification capacitors. Hopefully they'll last a little bit longer than the original ones on there. In fact, I'd always recommend that if you are in the market to do a repair like this, then you do spend a few more pounds on the high quality capacitors, because I suspect the other ones on eBay are probably new old stock. It's up to you, but I would always favour the later specification capacitors, because they're just better quality and using more up-to-date materials. I bought mine from let me just see that in shot there, hopefully it comes out, KA Parts. They're an eBay seller, and I'm in no way affiliated with KR Parts. I've just used them, but I guess if you have a look on eBay or Google their name, you'll probably see they sell lots of other parts for Kenwood Chefs and other domestic appliances as well. So we'll give them a try and see how we get on. Just to prove this motor doesn't work as it is using the original equipment, I've very crudely connected some power to this unit. You can see it's plugged in over there, so being very careful, we just turn the speed controller there and nothing's happening, completely dead. But we know we're getting power to this point here, so on with the repair, I think. So what I'm going to do here first is carefully remove these components one by one, just making a careful note of where they all go. This kit didn't come with any instructions, but generally speaking, if you googled it, they are out there. So I'm just going to replace mine methodically. They're pretty obvious where they all go, but you do have to do some sort of leg bending of this triac once it's installed to make sure it marries up with the leg of the capacitors and the resistors. And there's a completed job. New capacitors in there, new resistors, new triac, neatly soldered, all ready to go back on. Just to show the motor working before we put it back on the chef itself, I'll just very carefully there you go. Sounds much better, ready to be fitted back to the machine.